All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Tom, and this is Mod and Pop Thrift. I am a full-time eBay reseller. This is my inventory. I'm also a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids with a baby girl on the way in October. We have 13 going out of here today, so I'll try to make it quick. Let me bring up the right screen, and we will be underway. The smoke. I don't know if you guys are watching the smoke, depending on what part of the country you're in. I know that I've got quite a few watchers in Bloomington, Illinois, and it's gotten worse over there, but it's been bad here. And so yesterday I just stayed inside. I'm like, those 3 shipments can be late. I'm just staying inside with my kids and we'll figure it out. Right now they're saying that the air is not great either, but it looks so much better than it did yesterday that I suspect it'll update soon and we'll have a lot lower number than the 140 that it was this morning. Anyway, Canadian wildfire smoke derailed me yesterday. 13 going out today. A hat, it just says Drummond. I paid 75 cents for a bunch of snapback hats. This is a snap. It's on the back of a hat. That's the style that people look for. Big stand-up front on these rather than having like a dad hat. These are more popular. And this one says Drummond America, but I don't think that helps it or hurts it. It's just a cool camo hat. These are storage bins for your vintage Nintendo games. I got them in a lot. A lot of times you'll find if you're buying vintage media, video games, CDs, tapes, they will come with storage, and the storage is worth at least as much. And so these, I found a Napa Valley wooden storage thing at Goodwill for like $4. I was like, dude, that's gonna flip for a lot of money. And I was like, you know what, I think I want to keep it. I'm gonna sell these that I had been using. Sold for $36.99, free shipping. And so I upgraded to a wooden storage thing. I was just using those because they were convenient, and I liked the wooden thing, so I switched it out. Cubs, True Fan 2XL, just a generic jersey. I like to buy the ones with no name on them because that guy doesn't get traded. And so I don't deal a lot with jerseys. I sell like that kind of thing I'll buy, but they don't sell for much, $14.99 plus shipping. This oil can sold, but then it had another oil can sitting on top of it, so I've got it drying. I paid $2 a piece for a bunch of these oil cans. Most of them aren't going to be worth a lot. This one sold for $29, free shipping. We went to yard sales like 2 weeks before we went to Disney World, and I found this, which is it's a fan, and I think it still works. It's a fan, and it's a spritzer water bottle. So if you're in Disney parks and you're like, it's miserable, oh, cool me off, that kind of thing. I mean, you can just look at that and tell it's a droid Star Wars thing if you're super familiar, but also Black Spire Outpost is the name of the Disney parks thing. They're part of their attraction for Star Wars land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So I just saw this, I was like, oh, that's a unique looking Star Wars thing. It's the kind of thing that you would have at the park. So I kind of knew it was parks, and then I read the tag. It says Disneyland theme park. Anyway, they had 2 of them. They were both $5 each. This one was in nice shape. The other one was like cracked right here. And so I bought this one and I left the other one. I might have been able to sell it for parts or just the lanyard, but I didn't feel like $5 was a good investment there. The shirts that I took down and relisted, 2 of them sold yesterday. This one sold for $9.45 plus shipping. I paid $3 a piece for a bunch of these, like 20 of them, like a year ago. So the ones that are left are the ones that nobody really wanted. And so this one sold for $10. Panhandle Slim can be good. This is like just lightly striped in the weaving of the fabric, so it's pretty plain white shirt, and just not going to do super well for that reason. People who wear those, the flashier they are, the better. This came inside an Xbox, no case, so I put it in a 102. Ooh, except I'm going to have to get a different case because this one's, the teeth are broken out. And so while the case wasn't part of the sale, if I ship it in one with the teeth broken out, it's likely to fall and get scratched and stuff. So I'm going to have to put that in a different case. NCAA games can do really well. If you have NCAA 14 instead of 12, this one sold for $10 free shipping, but it sold in 2 days. 14 would be worth about $80. 13 is somewhere in the middle. NCAA games, and that whole market's probably going to crash here pretty quick when they finally release. There wasn't one after 14 because they were like, whoever this player is a real dude, and they're using his likeness without compensating him whatsoever. And so the players are like, you can't do that. Somebody sued the NCAA, and then they finally came to some type of agreement. I don't get into the politics of the whole thing. I think it's even, I don't care if that guy's a college graduate, getting a free college education. EA Sports is making way more money on his likeness than 10 college educations cost. So I think the guy ought to be getting compensated somehow for his likeness on a video game. I understand, like, you can't be paid because we're paying you with college tuition when it was the 50s and people weren't making billions of dollars off of college sports. So anyway, they got it straightened out. 2014 was the last year they made one. I believe that there is a 2024 game going to come out. And so 10 years, 14 was the best one you could get. And so it went way up in value. It got up to like $250 in like 2020. Now it's down to like 85, and it'll probably continue to fall, but it will always have some value. I suspect it'll land somewhere in the $40 or $50 range when it's all said and done. So it's still worth picking up. NCAA sports games are sometimes worth comping. I have a new offer for $5. That can wait. Vintage black XL something. Garmin thing. I picked up a box of Garmin stuff, including a handheld Garmin GPS, not the kind you put in your car, the kind you hold in your hand while you're camping and hiking. Those do reasonably well. That thing sold for $75. I paid $1.50 for the box, and this came in the same box, sold for $12 free shipping. This I pulled off of a bike that I spent $25 on. This goes in the front tube, and so the forks would be here and the handlebars are in this hole. This is a T-Bone by Prestige, and it sold for $19 free shipping. So I mean, that one tiny part is almost putting me in the profit on that bike. $19.87 free shipping. That had to have been on an offer, because why would I list it at $19.87? That's weird. This is Jim Henson Preschool Collection. Weird VHS tapes that you've never seen before, never heard of, didn't realize that thing was out to make a VHS tape. Can do well. Children's programming and horror sci-fi are the things to look for as a general rule on VHS. But it's like Thriller. When I was collecting records 15 years ago, people were like, "Oh, I've got Thriller, you gotta pay me for that one, it's the best record of all time." And I'm like, yes, it is. But that means everybody bought it, which means there's 100 billion copies of it out there still. And most of them are in nice shape because people cared about it. It's not like early Beatles pressings that there were just fewer people buying records. By the time Thriller came out, it was a massive market, and people bought multiple copies, and there's probably more copies of Thriller than there are people on the planet. So Thriller is a great album worth having in your collection, but it's not valuable. And the same thing goes for Jurassic Park on VHS, E.T., the movies that were at the heat of the VHS market. They are sought after, and you can sell them in lots for a couple bucks a piece. But like a $20 VHS tape is probably either going to be horror or children, or some real obscurity in some other genre, because they just didn't sell as well. It's niche markets, and so the things that appeal to mass audiences, there are mass quantities out there. I don't know about this. I know that because of the box it's in, it probably came off of Whatnot. It's just a retro print. Like, it's not old, and it's not the new Space Jam. I don't know where it came from. Sold for $14.99, free shipping. No, plus shipping. $14.99 plus shipping. And that's a zero feedback buyer, which is weird. Somebody's not finding a better deal on that shirt than that. I would have taken a $7 or $8 offer plus shipping on that, but whatever. Anvil, a red bar. That's a vintage tag. This is Rush Limbaugh, who was a political pundit on the right, kind of the first guy to be a shock jock politically. And so, disc jockey, a radio personality. He's not really a disc jockey, but he's a radio personality who uses shock and outrage. He probably wasn't the first one, but he was early in making that a big thing throughout the 2000s. He was the pioneer. I would say for the good or the bad, it wasn't good. Nothing good came from people just being polarizing in order to gain an audience. And so, whether you agree with him politically or not, the lunacy of being just loud and angry all the time so that people will listen to you is detrimental. I think we understand that more now than we did then, and people were like, this is not going good places even then. Anyway, that is the whole kit and the whole caboodle, everything that sold, and what it sold for, and probably what I had in it. So we're going to get those shipped out, and then we will see what else we get into today. If I don't see you again, thanks for liking, watching, commenting, subscribing, and all those things that you do.